Hey, welcome to the Real HD Show. You've been invited to the place where we celebrate the good, the bad, the ugly of our people, and we heal it with freedom music. That's right, freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 p.m. on these airwaves. You get the banner below. You join us backstage for the most soulful hip hop, R&B, house-based jazz, blues, reggae, the kitchen sink, everything to get you in a great space with that music that heals us and makes us feel so great. So you have tuned into the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. That's what HD stands for. I am your host, Vic, and you have tuned into this ride for the next 2 hours. You could tap in on the call letters below, StreamYard.com, 5GRB, 6Y3UR7. That's right. You can tap in that way. It will be a ticker after a while, so you can still follow it and tap in. We are nothing without you. We need your input to have a higher discussion. If we do not, the show still goes on. The evidentiary awareness, so you can move fearless, will still be conducted. We know that it will be a super ionic experience if you join us. Yeah, man. So we are here for you, and it's your voice, your victory here on the show. There are your call letters below. We are blasting off to 5 Facebook channels. We are blasting off to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, uh, D Live, Trovo Nation. We are everywhere, and Fanbase. We are everywhere you want to be. We are the Real HD Show. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn all your notifications, comment, so that every time we have a Real HD Show, you too can tune in and be involved with our higher discussion. That's right. You might have seen them talking bobbleheads, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Gail Kings, the all of the, the Piers Morgans and the Jordan Petersons, but you ain't never heard nothing like this. We got stuff directly for you, directly about you, right here on the Real HD Show. Total Package Energy. Make sure that you go to their website, totalpackageenergy.com. Mob that website with your contributions. Better than Gatorade, all natural, melanated company. They got zips, waters, teas, gels, all types of energy products, all natural to put a battery in your back. Because some of us have a second half of our day. We do shows. We take care of kids. We take them to athletic and cheerleading competitions and martial arts competitions. We have a second half of our day. We do many, many things. Maybe you're doing some civic and community work for the people. We do a lot in our spare time. So go check out them. Redeem vacations. You bring 5 people to the Real HD Show or any of our shows, courtesy of yourself, and you will get a certificate to either a night out, dining, a hotel experience, or a 3 day, 3 night, 4 day vacation somewhere in these United States. Brought to you by Redeem Vacations and not Total Package Energy, Redeem Vacations and the Real HD Show. So we also have NOLA, Bats Footwear, all the way from New Orleans. That NOLA, heard me? So they coming all the way here. They're giving you that revolutionary soul technology, good for the joints, good for the feet, good for the hips and the knees. Its thermal technology will also protect the circulation of the feet. So go check them out. Bats Footwear, cross between Harachis and Vans to give you a little style while giving you comfort and maximum athletic ability. All right. So welcome to the show. You have entered the One More Again episode. Why? Because last week we had some technical gremlins. We had some things we had to deal with, and we have thus made the necessary changes to have a brand new show. So y'all need to tap on in. Give me a tweet, give me a retweet, give me a share actually on mad different platforms. Any platforms that you might know, any club organizations, because we're going to talk about these pivotal things, man, that make our world go round, both good and bad. We are the Real HD Show. Show's coming up. We got broadcast beats tomorrow. It won't be the Anything Goes show, but it will be a show. It'll be the latest episode in the broadcast beats franchise as these dynamic young people on their quest for musical presence and musical startup and stardom. And also, we'll have on Saturday, we'll have the Sage Dragon Book Club episode, the newest installment. It won't be this one, it'll be about rural America through literature. So it should be really dope. And you always have, the Sage Dragon, she comes on and gives her a really dope slant on literature and life and lessons. And you don't want to miss that. Tap in, comment, come up on stage, let your voice be heard. You can even use an avatar if you like. All right. So look out for Broadcast Beats and Sage Dragon Book Club uh, coming up. All right. So, as usual, we have to start with our elders and ancestors' blueprint, and we will mash it up, smash it up with our stolen legacy moment. That's right. So, we are standing on the greatness. We are standing on the shoulders of greatness. And they have, our ancestors have, whether they're our ancestors in this continent or on others, we can all learn a little bit about the way that we're going about our freedom, justice, and equality. Some of the systems, some of the travails, some of the failures that some of our ancestors had to endure and deal with based on our elders and ancestors' blueprint. Also, our Stolen Legacy moment is an ode to those scholars and an ode to those people that did so many magnificent things on this planet that go underappreciated, that were of a melanin ethnogenesis. So we want to highlight those things and we want to bring those things to bear. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to tap into our AAT report, our healthy, wealthier, and wiser segment for a brand new you. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. That was the AAT intro. We are in the AAT health report, healthy, wealthier, and wiser, because we need cell power. A couple of years ago, we had the pandemic hit the planet, especially hit North America, and folks went through all kinds of things. But I know all kinds of folks got called back to the ancestors, and all sorts of folks right now are dealing with health ailments from the pandemic and what we were subjected to. So anything that's under the sky, under the water, and on the land that can help us be healthier and safer and wealthier by virtue of being healthy, we're going to talk about it. All right, so tonight, our first joint comes from, there's a couple of them that we're going to do tonight. It's the summertime. And in the summertime, what do? The summertime, we go to many, many live food marketplaces that sell vegetables. I know in my area of Rochester, New York, we have an international, great, public market that many, many people come from many, many places. It's an attraction of the Rochester area, our public market. It's rows and aisles and rows of food and form and people and smiles and commerce and transactions, all in the name of eating healthy. But once you get all of that stuff home and you got to wash it and you got to preserve it, we often come to a loss. Well, how do I do that? Do I use the same water that's coming out of my sink that I'm questioning? Do I use hot water? Do I use, some people say, vinegar? Of produce pesticides better than water and better than vinegar. So let's get into that. Let's get into that on the show. And we'll see how that manifests itself. You know what I mean? See what it's all about. And y'all could tap in. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think um, of the information. Are we bettering the nation? Are we failing the nation? Let us know. AAT Report, Real HD Show. Check it out.
How I wash my fruits and vegetables, because I got a lot of questions as to how I wash everything. So let me give you like a little step-by-step in case you don't know how. I put about a 1/4 cup of baking soda, and now I'm just gonna fill it up with some water. Let it sit for like 10 minutes. And it's already looking a little funny, even though I already rinsed all of it with water previously. Ugh. It's been about 10 minutes, and now we're just gonna dump it all out. I gave it a quick rinse, and now we're gonna put it back in the bowl. Grab some white vinegar and pour some in. And we're gonna dilute it with some water. Mix it around and let it sit for another 10 minutes. And the vinegar is supposed to help with like mold spores. So this is a good step to do with like berries, especially. And I do it this way because then I can eat the peel or use it for something. And then I don't have to peel the damn ginger because that's the most annoying part. But anyway.
All right, so there you have it. Washing your fruits with baking soda, and she even added ginger in there for a more direct effect. So I like it. I'm gonna try it. Has anybody ever done this before? Let us know if you've done this sort of thing before to improve the, bio use of your food to wash all of the pesticides off, Monsanto, right? And so that your produce comes to you, whether it comes to you in a poor way or it comes to you in a very refined way, you can have healthy fruits and vegetables in your house, washed and ready to go for you and the fam. You know what I mean? Let us know. Put it in the chat. Let us know where you at. Everybody watching the show, everybody, make sure you comment and set it off on the show. Okay, so we got another video, and it's really, really about the very same thing, but it's from the opposite lens. So we in the summertime we get our watermelons and our fruits and our veggies from the farmers markets and the public markets, and we try our best to patronize those things because we know that it's better than the fast food and the prepared food that are in a lot of these supermarkets and fast food stores and chains. And you really don't know what you're getting or who you're getting it from or what type of condition is coming to you in, simply because we don't know who's preparing it. We don't know if they're just heating it up. We don't know if they're mincing and mashing and mushing the food themselves. We don't know if it's just a, quick thaw out and serve routine. But we need to know, and we need to be, super vigilant about it because, we got to be vigilant about what we're putting in our bodies, no matter what it is. So if we're going to wash our fruits and vegetables from the public market, well, damn it, we got to make sure that we're not eating crazy as well. So this is something that someone found that, not someone, my associate producer, Sincere, all the way from New York, he found this video and he sent it to me in the past. I'm not sure if I've played it before, but I'm gonna play it right now. And it will give those who are fast food junkies a wake-up call. And if not, it should shock some into reality about what we are consuming in the fast food market. Here we go. AAT Report.
Video right now.
Y'all asking me for an update, and I've been here trying to throw up motherfucking human teeth out my shit because I just ordered me some food. I'm kind of losing my last brain cell in this car because I just want to know. I want to know how I've been sitting here eating this meat and I notice a row of teeth in my shit. And that ain't it. They got the top and bottom jaw in my shit. I just sat here and ate this food and bit into somebody's molar. And I'm saying somebody because I don't know if this is an animal or a motherfucking human in this bowl of meat. Am I a cannibal? What is it, carnivore? What the fuck is the word? What is going on? What's going on, honestly? A row of teeth?
And this is why we tell y'all, you need a total body detox. We eating all this bullshit and we not taking any detox to clean it out of our bodies. Go to blackveganshop.com or click the link in my bio. If you have an iPhone, you can download the app Black Vegan Shop on the App Store. Go clean yourself out, man. Go be healthy.
Yeah, peace, brother Mozzie. What's going on with you, bro?
Oh, bro, just living the life, man. Living the life.
How's your summer been going so far, man? Yeah, I know
Man,
we're in August already. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Leos out there.
Yeah, it's been super busy, man, and I can't realize it just passed me by that quick. But that's what
man.
happens.
That's what the summer do, man. That's summer. That summer don't play. You better appreciate it when it's here. Get it all in.
Get it all in, man.
Get it all in. Yeah, man. So that was a part of our AAT report, that last video. I hope you caught a little bit of that. And the sister, we were talking about the benefit of going to public markets right before that. And you'll actually see your food being given to you. And you can ask about how it was prepared, the fruits, the veggies, the meats, the whatever. I know they got a lot of fish in the market over there at the public market. And I was telling the good people about how our public market in Rochester is internationally acclaimed. It's like a tourist spot for Rochester. Come through, support the young people, and all people come in there with their fruits and their vegetables that they farmed and prepared for the people, and it's an honest transaction for people who are getting the stuff right out the ground, right out the water, preparing it for you. I'm not saying it's all good, but I'd say a good 70% of it is legit. Your thoughts, sister? Bit into a piece of meat from a fast food spot and found a row of teeth in it.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what kind of fast food place she went to, because it didn't look like it was all that processed. But
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I know Boston Market does stuff like that. They give you chicken and all of that.
Yeah, it didn't look like a human jaw.
Right.
It could be some other type of marsupial or something like that, but it definitely is not. That wasn't a human jaw.
Marsupial, no doubt. Yo, that's funny because I was looking at this video the other day, and it was one of them old school 80s videos because it was grimy, and then they had the little wall in the background with the banner across it. It wasn't, it wasn't the highfalutin buildup that a lot of these, Today Show and Good Morning America puts out there. Yeah. And the dude got on there with a kangaroo.
I remember those.
Got on there with a marsupial, right? And they were trying to show the kangaroo, and the kangaroo had on gloves.
I remember that, man. I remember one of those.
Yeah, and they were trying to make the kangaroo do some tricks, and kangaroo was like, "Not today. I got time today. I got time today.
Yeah.
Y'all want to play? Y'all want to exploit somebody? I got time today." And every time they asked the kangaroo to do something, kangaroo threw a jab cross, bop, 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 bop. I was cracking up. Yo, hilarious. I should have showed it, but it's crazy. They couldn't get nothing done. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, but it's funny, man. I've been having these conversations to myself because some folks can't have these conversations with.
Well, come on, let's have a higher discussion about it. What's on your mind?
Trying to do the math.
Uh-huh.
When you think, let's just use McDonald's in America. McDonald's in America serves something like 3.5 million hamburgers a day. Hey, get from over there. Sorry, man. The dog is being a little mischievous at the moment.
I feel you.
3.5 million hamburgers.
I miss mine being mischievous.
Yeah, man.
He's not here no more. So I mean, he could be if he was here, he could be mischievous as he want to be. Just come on back through. But go ahead, bro.
And I was saying, wow, 3 million burgers, 3.5 million hamburgers a day. Mm-hmm. That's just McDonald's.
Right.
We're not throwing in Wendy's. We're not throwing in Burger King. Smash Burger, Happy Burger, somebody else's burger, and the
Pet
other chains
Boys,
around. They're all over the country,
not
man.
Pet
I'm
Boys,
saying,
Five Guys,
yeah,
and White Castle, and all the
yeah.
rest of it.
So when you think about that, I'm saying, damn, that's a lot of animals, man. And I
Sure
know
is.
cows are big, especially when you get into big beef cows, man. The big steers, man, they're huge. But do they put out that? Are we producing that many burgers off them bad boys?
Mm.
Do the math on that, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a lot. So somewhere along the line, are we really eating hamburger? Is the question we have to ask ourselves. When you think
Yeesh.
about doing the math, and for those who think they got the nice little smash burger, and we're hearing more and more now that places they're uncovering that when they take meat from some of these places and run a DNA check, that is human flesh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I'm not surprised that, that she found that, somebody, either grandfather or let me stop playing, man. Or she found some other animal or whatever teeth in there, because the other part is too, people don't have the same work ethic as they used to have years ago.
Mm, mm.
We don't
Yeah,
have the same type of inspections we used to do, and even then, the inspectors that we do have, they don't really do their job.
yeah. That was gonna be my slant on it. Maybe we just not getting people who just don't give a damn about the cuts that they're making anymore.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
why I
they
remember.
just throwing anything in there.
Yep. And that's why I
Anything
say,
that's thrown in the meat grinder now.
yep, if you're gonna eat your meat, man, I say you got to go to a meat store where you can
Mm.
see him throw that big hunk of beef up there, that meat
Go
up
see
there.
the go to the butcher like grandma used to do. Go
Listen,
see the butcher. There was a reason why grandma went to the butcher.
because
And she didn't just go to the supermarket for all her fish and her meats. There was a reason for that.
my grandparents didn't trust. They did not trust supermarkets, man. But here's
Yeah.
what's interesting. When I was younger, I worked at a local supermarket that had a butcher block and had a butcher section in the back, and I learned
Mm.
to be a butcher. And that was considered a skilled trade back then.
Dope.
I mean,
Dope.
you bring me a cow, man, I'll break it down into everything you need.
Mm.
Everything. Give me a
What's
chicken.
ill is when I was doing I did a couple of years of athletic training as a concentration in school, and then I switched to education, right? So we would have to do lab, and they would bring us these big cadavers that we had to operate on, and
Mm-hmm.
then I used to say, "Is this what a butcher goes through?" You know what I mean? You gotta separate the mandible and take out the
Yeah,
lips and
man.
cut those off just so, and you know what I mean? Put the
Yep.
pieces and compartmentalize the pieces and don't ruin this. And well, if you take
Yeah,
too much
man.
of that, you're not gonna be able to dissect it later. If you you
You
know
get
what I
it?
mean, you're gonna ruin it. You don't get
Yeah.
another one. You know what I mean?
Used
So
to
I'm like,
get
damn,
pigs, man.
is
I
this
had
what
to know
butchers
which
do?
part to get the loin from, the
Yeah,
center cut,
right,
the pork
right,
steak, the
right,
pork butt, the pork shoulder, the hog
right,
maws, the
right,
you name it, man. Same the chicken. You gotta know you can get at least 7 to 8 cuts off a chicken if you know how to cut it properly.
right.
People used to come in and buy whole, but that was back when I was young. That's when you can get a whole chicken for $3.
Yes, sir.
So if only you got is a couple dollars, you can still feed the family.
Right.
I mean, they were
Right.
doing that with the rotisseries for $5, but we know that don't exist no more. But we got to try to, as much as we can, get as close to not really farm to table, but we got to quit waiting for everything to be automatically done for us.
Yes.
And I fight against it like everybody else,
Right.
because when I'm busy, got a lot going on, like now, I don't have time, man. So sometimes you want it already made for you, but you got to
Yeah,
go
man.
to
So
places.
I showed the people a clip of how there's a lot of people saying that baking soda is better for your public market vegetables to cleanse them and rinse them off other than just using tap water, regular water, or using
Right.
vinegar. And they said the vinegar may strip the fruits of some nutrients, the vegetables, but the baking soda, this Asian woman who did the demonstration, she used a combination of baking soda and ginger. And you let it steep, then you give it a rinse, and then now you got good, clean fruits and vegetables where you can even use the skin if you wanted to. Yeah, man.
You know, about the interesting thing about baking soda, man, it is truly a wonder element, man, because it is used for so many things and it can do so many things. And it's good for you. You know what's funny? If you have stage 1 diabetes, not stage 1, but for those who have kidney problems.
Yeah.
When you on your earlier stages of getting dialysis and stuff like that, you know what they give you, man? They flush your blood and they flush it with sodium baking soda.
Yeah.
That sodium bicarbonate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it's weird because I was listening, it took me down the rabbit hole, and I remember listening to this Asian doctor who was saying in the West, it's a death sentence, but we know in other places around the world, it's not a death sentence.
Right.
There's nutrients you got to do. Now it's a lot of things you got to do to keep, if they're going bad, to get them back healthy, but it ain't a death sentence, and kidneys can rejuvenate itself. Practically everything in the human body can rejuvenate itself. Why is it the kidneys any different? And so one of the things that she talked about was, and it was a guy who had stage 4 kidney disease or kidney failure, and he got his kidney status back up to like stage 1 or 2. And one of the things he did was he used to put a tablespoon, like a half a tablespoon, I don't remember, something like that, in some water, some baking soda, and drink it every day. Because it was flushing the system so that the body didn't have to work, so the kidneys can have some relief.
Right. And there's many fruits and vegetables you could do that exact same thing with. Lemon is great for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, man. But we gotta, I don't know. Do we want to find? I hate to say it. Do we want to find jaws in our food, or do we want to eat the sloop that Bill Gates wants us to eat?
Oh man, we gotta wait for our WEF conversation later.
You know what I'm saying?
They had a summer conference. Usually they do their joint in February in Davos, right? Switzerland, right? But now they had a WEF China summertime joint, and they had some outcomes that came out of that meeting, and we'll talk about those in a little while because they involve our babies, they involve our bambinos, our best and our brightest. So we got to talk about that a little bit later. But I'm glad I got you on, man, because we're gonna try to do this one more again with our Lit City report, and we're gonna try to get to this Chameleon Street piece. And my computer is going to cooperate with me tonight, so me and this brother and all of us watching tonight can have a healthy and a happy, higher discussion. Here we go. So last time we were here, and I was trying to get Brother Mozzie on. Well, he was on, and he was very patient with a lot of the technical gremlins that we were going through last Wednesday. Can you hear me now, though, bro? Is everything good?
I hear you loud and clear.
Great, I hear you too. Good to see you, man. You're looking good. So we gonna keep it pushing, and we are gonna show this Chameleon Street and this George Washington Black trailer in the proper way that it deserves, because the Chameleon Street was a digital masterpiece that was redone, redigitized, and put out there in a better, I guess, digital cinematic format than it previous was, and it was the kickoff to the Black Cinema series at the Little Theater right here in Rochester, New York. This movie came out in the early 90s, late 80s, but the backdrop was a early 70s, not early late 70s, early 80s type of backdrop. But it features a brother in all of the code switching that he had to do to make himself a success in America, or have him and his family pay the ultimate price for it. So let's check it out, Chameleon Street, and let's have a higher discussion about it on the other side. Here we go.
Me Mr. Wonderful. Other people call me William Douglas Street Jr. Born in a log cabin in the backwoods of Kentucky, young Douglas soon elevated himself from field hand to tiger, from tiger to reporter, and from reporter to doctor, from doctor to co-ed, from co-ed to attorney, from attorney to congressman. When I meet somebody, I know within the first 2 minutes who they want me to be. I need some money.
Make some money.
I mean, I could sit here and make you think you're a genius for correctly analyzing this complex, exotic, notorious Negro.
You know that the white man runs this world?
I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning.
Your credentials are just too amazing to believe.
What would you concoct such a licentious, low-down lie?
I wanted to get the money.
Open your mouth.
This is all just a vacation to you, isn't it?
Prison, a vacation? People ask me if I regret what happened. Sure, I regret it, but you can take my word for it. It's an unforgettable experience. I think, therefore I scan. I know not what I am. I am Chameleon Street.
And when did this movie come out?
It came out they just brought it back out. They just reimagined it. They worked with various entities within Rochester and a little theater, and I think they even had something to do with some entities out of Syracuse University, so on and so forth. And they redigitized, they remastered the movie, and it's really good, man. And it's a funny movie. It's a satire. The brother's funny. There's elements in the movie that are absolutely funny, and then there's elements of the movie that make you go and then there's elements of the movie that make you just sad for what this brother and people like him had to go through. And it, as more I think about it, this brother was the extreme definition of code switching. Mm-hmm. So you know how we could talk fair and we could talk loose amongst each other, but then when we get in other company, we got to do other things, and we got to talk other ways, and we have to maximize our value and our potential in other ways. And this brother, because he was down on his luck and he wasn't very financially viable as a worker, he didn't have a career track. He was job to job, unemployment to unemployment situation. And he started to realize through his intelligence and his skills in reading, writing, and arithmetic that he could code switch in any crowd that he wanted to be in and be whoever that crowd wanted him to be. So he was a surgeon just by game. This brother just had game enough to be a whole surgeon. He was a congressman. He worked in a congressman's office. He had legal, diplomatic immunity for a minute. As a congressman, he was, he worked his way into, it was either Harvard or Princeton. He did so much within a small time period to get to the bag. And it was, and to me, not only was it an epitaph about code switching and how, why Black people would even have to do that in America. We could talk about that. But we could also talk about why did he feel so desperate that he had to lie, steal, cheat, and, basically have a, white collar criminal mindset in order to make it in America, and was making it. And if it wasn't for his own dirty conscience and the dirty conscience of people around him, he would have succeeded in a lot of those areas without people even batting an eye. What's your thought, man, when you see people do that? It almost reminded me of Richard Pryor's movie, Which Way Is Up? When he assumed
It's America, man.
identities.
It's twofold.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you one how America is designed in general, because there's that stratosphere based upon professions and economics. So even when you're white, I don't think there's a level of code switching, but there's you're hopping through the different levels of their existence.
Right.
And then for us, it's both.
Yeah.
We got the race thing going, so we always got to somehow navigate that, and then within that, we have to navigate their general social structure that they put in place for themselves.
Right.
So that's a tough thing, man. That's why they say a lot of us who ends up with multiple personalities. This is one of the reasons why.
Woo, woo, woo. Great one. Yeah. That disorder. Ooh. Yeah, man. So
you do it so much and so long, you don't know which way is up.
Don't know which way is up. Yeah,
Which
I
way is
thought
up?
this movie, outside of being, outside of the more decorated movies that, talk about this sort of a thing. And of course, you'll see the Eddie Murphy movie and Nutty Professor, where he plays a gazillion people, and you'll see Martin Lawrence do the exact same thing, Flip Wilson do the exact same thing. And it just led me to think about, why do we have to assume so many identities and be so many things to so many people in America just to be involved in the commerce of America?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that there's a destined answer for that, but I thought that movie really brought that circular question to bear, and for us to really do some thinking about it. And if you have to do that much capitulating and kowtowing and switching on and off your talents, and being despicable and having a criminality mindset in order to do those sorts of things, why don't you just get into ownership?
And that's America too. But see, what we don't realize is America is this schizophrenia, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Because think about it. We go through so many changes as it relates to the latest fad and the latest fashions. That's a change. That's a psychological change that takes place all the time. Because now you got to figure out which these, and then because what happens is, if I had on some FUBU from the 90s, everybody look at me like I'm crazy.
Right.
And the reality is, based on the structure that we're in, you would have to be crazy to be walking around with some 1990s FUBU. Like it's like that old pimp that out there, and he's still walking around. Remember, I forget which one it was.
Oh, you talking about I'm gonna get you, sucker, Huggy Bear?
Yeah, he gets out of jail, and he don't realize that the styles have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And when he went in, what he was wearing was the flyest gear in the world.
It was. He was styling and profiling, pimping.
You know what I mean? And now he walk out here laughing stock.
Yeah.
So that would drive you insane, man. And having to wear so many hats and always kind of code switching, you go insane, man. I don't know many people who've been in that realm to the degree of the movie, but I understand what it's getting at. But I think people who are like that find themselves a little cuckoo.
Yeah, even in the movie, he reached a point where he was kind of reckless with a knife with his little daughter, and I don't want to give it all away, but you like you said, you got it. You're marching on a degree of insanity and recklessness.
Yeah.
When you code switch that much, and your values are moving, and your identity moves with the job that you get. Because I don't care who you are. You stay on a job for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, like our grandfathers and grandmothers, and that becomes your identity. And it becomes
Yeah.
a lot of your mindset and your makeup and what you value and what you don't value. And a lot of that is baked into the cake. So, at a certain point within the movie, he's holding his daughter and he begins to go a little cuckoo. He wants to play like a little knife game with his own baby daughter. And I think it was really because now some people would have just looked at him and be like, oh, that me go crazy. But really what it is that, like you said, now he becomes, his pathology is going to an extreme now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a generally unhealthy mentally person. Mentally a generally unhealthy person. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, just wanted to talk with you about that. I thought that, so check that out. If it's still at the little, go pay $5 or whatever the ticket price is. Go check that out.
And
I
support your
thought,
independence.
yeah, exactly. I thought Spike Lee, of all people, might have got his hands on this script and redid it and did it with his flair to it. I thought it would be absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, I like it the way it is. So not everything has to be big movie box office draw. But some of our more creative cinematic types might have, Jordan Peele, they might have really did a great job with a backdrop like that. But there's another backdrop and there's another cinematic masterpiece out there right now, George Washington Black. If you haven't seen it, it's on the Hulu exchange, the Hulu app, and it got my man Sterling K. Brown in it, and a host of other really good faces. Stars a young, melanated young man who's playing a genius. It's a fictionary tale, but it talks about how much genius that was being denied from our people during the times of antebellum slavery. And I'll let the trailer tell you the rest. Here we go.
Last stop on the Underground Railroad. Everybody step off with their own story. Boy, do I got one for you. A story about a young man and the boy he used to be.
Tell me your name.
George Washington Black.
How did you do that? He's a clever one, isn't he? You're going to be working with me from here on out. We must leave. Do you understand? It is time to fly.
Big fella come in on the ferry looking for a black man. George Washington Black.
We're both dreamers. Can't we dream up a different world? I've been passing as a white woman.
Your marriage to McGee is vital to our survival.
A young woman would burn down the world to find you.
All right.
I think I check that out.
Yeah, that's really dope. I'm on to episode 4 or 5 of it. It's really dope.
That's a series.
I showed the Blue Vein Society video last week, and she might have been a member of that Blue Vein Society. She was black, but she was, passing, as they say. Just like the brother that was in Chameleon Street. You can go passing. And back then, that used to open up doors for you. You know what I mean? Because if they couldn't prove it, you could blend into white society and do just fine. You know what I mean? And her and the brother wound up having a union, and I won't give away what happens, but he's a genius, and he's a genius in the world of aeronautics. And he does some really interesting stuff but not without challenge. He meets a whole lot of challenges in his journey. So go check that out. Brilliant two young brothers and sisters that are in that series, Sterling K. Brown and a host of others. Got a really, really dope. I think Jeffrey Wright is in the series. So go check that out. That's worth a check. And if we want more series like that and the Bass Reeves series and, all of the dope series that show the brilliance that our folks showed during the antebellum times, we need to support them. So go support that one. And, have yourself a good time, man, and get clued into what was really out there back then. all of us wasn't busting up Chevrolet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There was some of us making engineering marvels that still exist to this day. You know?
There were many of us doing that.
Yes. More than they'll actually. It was more normal than they would actually give you credit for. So if you go back and you look up the history of a lot of the inventions of the 17th, 18th, and 19th century, ugh, you know them folks ain't like to get their hands dirty.
Exactly.
Who got their hands dirty trying to perfect that whole thing? You know the deal. Y'all know the deal. And without even, go ahead, bro.
Oh no, I was just gonna jump off the sidewalk for a second. And Jeffrey Wright, you know, I loved him in Shaft, man. As Peebles, I just had to say.
Yeah. That. Oh, did he play that role?
That was him, man.
My gosh.
He was Peebles.
You would never know. You would never know he wasn't Spanish. You
Bruh,
would never know.
I swore up and down he was, man.
My name Peoples. You my peoples. I'm your peoples. My name Peoples.
You one Kentucky Fried Chicken eating nigga.
Yeah. Yo, he did that thing, man.
Like when they hit him with the ball.
Did you happen to see the newest movie that he did with Erica Alexander? American.
Yes. American
What's it called? American
Fiction.
American Fiction. Ooh.
Yeah, good movie, man.
That's a heater. That's a heater too, bro. That's a heater too.
Yeah, he is just one phenomenal actor, man. He's one of the few actors that when
he
he's in something, I make sure I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he definitely brings life to it.
Yeah. I think he was in some Spike stuff too. I just can't remember what he was in. I think Spike had him in a couple of joints as well. Yeah, man. All right, so we got through it. We almost at the 9 o'clock hour. Do I have anything else? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So we didn't do our elders and ancestors blueprint, so we'll do it right now. And we're going to get into the exploits of Soul City. Here we go. Yeah, so this is our attempt at showing that they are systems, blueprints, and, drafts of greatness that our ancestors put into motion. And we always feel like we got to reinvent the wheel, but we really don't. We just got to, remix what our ancestors already put there and make sure that it fits for today's times. So as we go over some of the things that could be in that particular genre, right? We have an inkling from Soul City. Now, this was a development that was supposed to be a government-sanctioned city in North Carolina. It was supposed to be their attempt at Black economic equity. And we'll find out through a series of 3 quick videos what eventually happened to Soul City. And then maybe we can recreate one for ourselves. Maybe we don't need the government interference. Here we go, Soul City on Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Here we go.
Black Wall Street. But are you familiar with Soul City? I grew up in Soul City. Soul City was a federally funded town founded by the late Mr. Floyd McKissick Sr., who was an attorney, a judge, and a civil rights activist. Soul City is located in rural Warren County, North Carolina, where I had the privilege of growing up. Warren County, North Carolina was chosen for this federally funded program because it was one of the poorest counties in the state of North Carolina. The vision included providing affordable housing, health care, child care, and recreational facilities for African American families in the county. Although Mr. McKissick made it clear, his vision also included it being a multicultural community, so all were welcome. However, because of the name Soul City, it ignited a little bit of racism in certain people, including Senator Jesse Helms, which I'll get to in just a minute. I had the privilege of growing up in Soul City and benefiting from the project. Mr. McKissick, I think he got a $14 million grant to build a city. So it included the infrastructure, water coming through the community. We had a swimming pool, we had a healthcare clinic, we had houses being built there, all kind of recreational activities. We had a manufacturing company that was there. we were seeing the manifestation of his vision come to pass until Republican Senator Jesse Helms, who was a known racist, demanded a financial audit of the project, of which they found no wrongdoing at all. But the process of going through that audit stirred a lot of controversy and suspicion. Needless to say, a year after that audit, the federal government pulled back their funding and everything came to a halt. And while Soul City was a utopia for black capitalism, racist Senator Jesse Helms promised to shut down what he called a boondoggle. And to be clear, he came true on his promises. Racist Senator Jesse Helms was threatened by the mere idea of black people not being oppressed and operating in this level of capitalistic power, and he called for an audit of the Soul City project, of which no charges were ever filed. There was no evidence of any financial discrepancies. However, he weaponized the audit and caused investors to pull back and.
The same old playbook.
I was living in a very crowded apartment, a prison in the sky, what they call the projects, and I came here with my 5 children, and I enjoy it tremendously. It's much better for me economically, physically, and mentally. I love it.
Fantastic. I think it's terrific, that we've got a piece of land like this. I've been here now something like 6 to 8 weeks, and I've been looking at the site, and I think we've got a gold mine in terms of developing a city.
Harvey Gant, in charge of designing Soul City, is an architect and city planner.
We have an opportunity not to desecrate the hillside here, but to put houses on the hills because they gently slope. We've got streams that run in and around. We can build roads that wrap around these gently rolling hills. Can you imagine then townhouses on these slopes? Can you imagine then the greenways that run along where you see now these trees?
But it's a long way from the architect's conception to the actual construction of a city. No one has ever tried to build a city completely from scratch before. For one thing, it will take $250 million for land development costs, and major industry is needed to provide jobs. We ask McKissick about the problems he faces.
Well, number one problem.
Okay, and I'm going to play part 3. Hold your horses, and then we can talk about it on the other side. All right, here we go.
Today in America, 90% of our people live and work on 2% of our land. Our cities are becoming inhumane. Our rural areas depressed. In North Carolina, we're making a fresh start at Soul City. We have 3,500 acres of beautiful land, with more than 400 acres set aside for industrial development. An initial 100-acre tract has been fully developed. The terrain is level and soils are well drained. The most prominent soil type is the Cecil Association, with small portions of Appling Association. Both are more than adequate for industrial construction. Parcels range from 5 to 50 acres or more. Access roads are in, as are water, sewer, and underground electrical utilities. Undeveloped land is also available at Soul City. Soul City is located in the Piedmont Industrial Corridor and positioned to serve a second big market, the Northeast Megalopolis. Soul City's 500-mile market area encompasses 13 states, 68 major metropolitan areas, and 1/3 of the United States population. Shippers can reach most major markets in the east overnight. I-95 runs about 35 miles east of Soul City. I-85 runs within a mile of Soul City and connects with I-40 about an hour south. Regular Soul City is a vast water supply. Carr Lake is only 6 miles from Soul City, and it feeds the $13 million Carr Lake Regional Water System at Soul City. The system's current capacity is 10 million gallons per day and has a holding capacity of 3 million gallons a day. Additional construction, planning, financing, marketing, and legal. All types of housing are now available at Soul City. There are 5 builders on site, model homes for you to see. Prices for single-family detached homes start at $25,000 and go to $70,000. Townhouses will start at $20,000. VA, FHA, FMHA, and conventional financing can easily...
All right. So that was it. So you guys can let me know if you guys have any questions or comments on where Soul City was, why doesn't it exist. I hope the video can answer a couple of those questions for you. And your first impressions, Brother Monty, Soul City. And this was in the 70s. This is more recent times than, more 2 centuries ago.
There's always been opportunity. There's always been ideas, and there's always been some mavericks out there that said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and they were able to convince those others to say, "Yeah, you go ahead and you do that," hoping that it wouldn't be successful. And then, of course, it's successful, and oh well, it's time to shut it down.
Yeah.
And so they go through whatever program they're going to use, but they'll get rid of it.
I had said something last week to the effect of what happens when, those people, like how Staten Island was founded, those folks who were part of the Underground Railroad and others, and the natives that were already there, decided to be Neolithic and turn that into a farming community. And they actually found that there was some value there.
Mm-hmm.
Where the other folks didn't believe there was value.
Right. But as always, we showed them that it was
You
value.
saw what the engineer said. He said it's right near some water. We got access to this. We got the sloping hills.
We good to go. We can do this.
We can do this. This is a reality here.
And then what do they do?
Hey, they making something of that land over there.
Let's go get it.
What's up? You know what I mean?
Yep. Happens all the time, man. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really just unfortunate.
Yeah, man. And, we talked about this on the show many times about how, you can have the brightest ideas in the world, but if you don't got the standing army or military or enforcement arm to protect it, yeesh.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Good luck with keeping whatever valuable thing you created, because, them folks is going to come through and want to cherry pick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was dope. I thought that was dope to show that, and given North Carolina's history with, the millionaire area of North Carolina, which was Wilmington, North Carolina in the 1890s. And that $1 million area was, burnt to the ground for the very same reasons. Once it became popular and once it became a thriving district, then complete with, senators and representatives and all kinds of folks that were doing all kind of wonderful stuff. Then folks said, "Oh, it's time to burn that city to the ground. Y'all can't have no agency.
Either we burn it or we drown it, one or the other.
Burn it or drown it, right? Right. Especially with the other American, I won't say Black American, I'll say melanated townships and districts. Seneca Falls and a bunch of other ones. Go back to my show when I showed you all the other ones. A crap ton of them in California, a crap ton of them in Georgia, a crap ton of them in, Indiana, just all over the place. Gorgeous Black cities doing great things. And folks couldn't just, stay in their little area and, play with their own toys. They had to come get yours. So just wanted to show that Soul City sounded like a dope thing. That sounds like something we could do again. That doesn't sound that difficult. We have more engineers. We have more scientists, medical-based people, and more engineers. now more than ever. Why can't we redo that? Get your head out of the PTSD of it all, and start moving toward something where you could have some ownership, and some autonomy and some agency. You know.
Yep. I mean, and we just gotta believe in ourselves, man. A lot of it is we just don't believe in ourselves.
Right.
We don't believe we can do this stuff. It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also splitting hairs with that microchip that we've had since the kindergarten and the first grade. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a tough microchip to break. You know what I mean? Shout out to Naeem Akbar. That's a hard microchip to break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is, man.
And we fight against our better instincts, our better judgment, our better frequencies. When we don't give ourselves an autonomous chance, but we're always moving to another's drum. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
especially, yeah. So let's get to what we didn't get to last week, which was some of these very great storylines for the show. And one of the storylines from the show that we wanted to feature that we didn't get a chance to feature last week due to our technical difficulties was the RTTL Association. You familiar with this, bro? Return to the Land?
Which one is it?
Return to the Land?
No, I'm not familiar. I've briefly heard something. I've not really heard much.
Well, it's a group out of the Ozark area of Arkansas.
Oh yeah. The all white. Let them go.
All
Let them
white.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, normally I would give two. I would cry 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it, right? Like George Clinton said, cry 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it. But if we're gonna be taxpayers, bro, and follow me, everybody at home, let me know what you think about this. If we're taxpayers and we want to be full-throated citizens, and we want to hold them people accountable like they hold us accountable, then when they start the creation of alternate types of cities that go outside of the bounds of the 14th, 13th, 14th Amendment, which is equal protection under the law, which is the reason why Trump felt like he had to get rid of 300,000, federal jobs and all that sort of stuff, then the same should apply to these folks. And they should have never got a charter to found an all-white territory, in my opinion, without some rubrics in mind. What could those rubrics possibly be? You can't be involved with any white extremist KKK activity.
Mm-hmm.
We know your history. We know what y'all do when y'all get together in secret with no bounds and no no swords over your head. Y'all start to get mischievous.
Ain't that the truth?
You know what I'm saying? Also, what could be some other rubrics that they have to follow, some standards that they have to follow that we know traditionally they don't like to follow. They don't like to play well that way. What some of those? What some of the, what do you think, bro? What could some of those rubrics that they have to follow as a township that would make it where they're not domestic terrorists and town pariahs? What do you think, bro?
We need to not go after them, but we need to treat them as such where like they do with the various townships that we try to set, the latest one being by Malachi York. We're going to have a couple plants in there, man.
Yeah.
Who they are, we don't know. And you don't need to know, but they need to be there to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Right.
So you ain't out there, marrying your children. Adult, and you got pedophilia running wild.
Right. The child mayor, right? The Saturnalia of it all. Yeah.
And making sure that there is no interbreeding taking place because we don't want to take on that economic burden.
There you go.
And you have to be self-sustaining and self-sufficient. If you want to create a white-only town, no one should be on public assistance.
Right. Right.
No food stamps.
Right.
No government subsidies.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Not only that, but let's put your charter in a temporary certificate basis. How about that? And every couple of years, we're gonna bring a whole gang of marshals up in there. We're gonna run through that bad boy with a fine tooth comb. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if we see that you got some, 5-6 acres, and y'all training the white boys and psyops and
But you know what's fun? But
the latest hood technology, then you can't exist no more. You have failed your temporary charter.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that too, though, when you really think about it, most of the people who want to do something like that, because those who are, it's usually once again that social stratosphere that they have, or social system that they have, social strata system. Most of them will be on the lower end anyway.
Yeah.
So outside of the general back to nature, living like the Waltons, I don't really see where they are going to be all that high tech. And those whites who are on the upper strata, they like the fact that they have, let's say, options. Those folks ain't got options. So for them, they just want their white self, and that's it. But those who move up the ladder economically and have created empires, different things like that, now they may choose in public to always looks white and a token other. The reality is they love other. And you catch them on the low, or you catch that paparazzi, you trying to figure out like, yo, I just saw him on the island with what's the dude out of Russell Simmons' daughter. You know what I'm saying? Not only do they like them young, but they like the variety. So they're not gonna sit in no lily white little situation like that. So for us, the beauty is gonna be, we know they're not gonna rise to the level in which our cities ever rose. And the beauty of it is, I think if need be, and we have, say, a black governor who's conscious, and we have some surrounding communities that are somewhat conscious, we can just flood them out like they used to flood us out.
And to really be honest, man, and to really be straight up, with the redistricting and gerrymandering and all the rest of it that's going on throughout the decades, especially since the Reagan era, there's been a crap ton of white communities all over this joint anyway.
Yeah.
They engineered it. One other thing I would tell them is, y'all can't make no damn racial covenants, man. None of that. None of that foolishness, none of that redlining, none of them racial covenants. You know what I mean? And we're going to get into that in a minute, right? But, this dude that, I believe the guy's name is, he's this, blonde dude named Michael Orwell or Orwell or something like that. And, this dude was outed for this right here. Eric Orwell starred in a series of live stream corn videos with his wife for cash. That's the leader. This is your king.
Listen, man.
This is your king.
They've always had some type of psychosexual maladaptive behavior, man.
Yeah. This is the poster child. I don't have a pic of him right now. I'll put a pic of him, And then you get another dude right here, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, too. Man accused of threatening to kill 30,000 black people in Cincinnati days after the Cincinnati Music Festival video attack.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, his name is Scott Hanna. And he decided that he was going to blow some folks up.
There was some type of scuffle at the Cincinnati Music Fest.
Oh, you didn't see that whole piece?
No, bro.
Oh, wow. So Cincinnati Music Festival, one of the biggest jazz festivals in the United States. There was a scuffle, and White dude slaps the brother. Supposedly this is some white Russian, and he don't know that
I seen that.
he don't know that he gonna catch them hands. If he attempts to put hands on, he don't know. Maybe he used to the way people get down in Russia. But he don't know Ohio got history with this sort of shit. It's a really big revolution.
Especially in Ohio.
Especially in Ohio. It's some big, and we go back to the show that we did on the revolutionary groups that came out of Ohio. And what they in the no shit policy that they had. And he caught that, what they used to call a universal beatdown. Everybody popped out. Everybody popped out. And he caught it in a really crazy way. And then to respond to it, you had this. Scott Hanna threatened to kill 30,000 in Cincinnati after that particular attack. So we'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to stay on this housing piece for a minute because we came off of Soul City expose and what that potentially was. And now we're going to talk a little bit about what these places are. So I just want the people out there to know that over the last 3 years, right, or more, there's been about over 10 different communities in the United States that have petitioned to be white-only townships. Not like redlining didn't exist and, creative bank loans and financing didn't exist that made areas exclusively white. Anyway, they want the charter to create their own townships and cities. So the Ozark area of Arkansas is one of them. A place called Boole, Idaho. I don't think you're going to find too many black people living in Idaho. Pullman, Washington. Marion, Indiana. Cicero, Illinois. Villa Grove, Illinois. High Park, Illinois. Harrison, Arkansas. And Vidor, or Vidor, Texas. Interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. And then there was a community in Tennessee that wanted to do that very same thing, like the South African community. I think the name of that one is Oriana or something like that. But I remember you remember that whole saga, right? Where they wouldn't let them do it. They wanted to do it, but the South African government wouldn't let them do it. Anyhow, so I thought that was interesting. How they're going to violate the 13th and 14th Amendment that is in most state constitutions. And they gave this township in the Ozarks of Arkansas an actual opportunity to be a all-white city. And they called it a private city. They don't call it all-white. They just call it a private membership city, right? So then I started doing my homework in some other areas, and I find out that there are some real, hoodwinking and bamboozling that's going on, some Plymouth Rock stuff landing on us about the way that house and home ownership is being handled right now. Check this out. So it says HOA to pay $40,000 in settlement after a homeowner who's a sister sued them for a lien on her home. So then I went to Chicago. Very similar story. They want to put a lien on this woman's home because she didn't paint a portion of the back side of a wall of her house. So she says she almost lost her entire home that was in one of those huge, subdivisions or whatever they want to do over a homeowner association lien that they put on her property.
Yeah, I saw her story.
Yeah. So then there's another article about how HOAs can shape neighborhoods. And if you read deep into this particular article, it talks about, racial covenants, it talks about redlining, and it talks about homeowner associations as being the brand new way that they redline you out of homes that you pay your good money on. And even though they didn't talk about equity, I'm sure it's kind of hard for them people to get equity from their bank once they, get HOA leaned out of their property. So my question was, these two sisters that went through this, and it's a bunch of them, right? It's like too many to tell. Like if we brought this up and we popped it up on a Google search, you'll find at least 13 or 14 people going through the very same thing. So they're playing games with the government bonds for homes, inflating home values. Remember we did that show in Texas where they're inflating home values so the values of these government bonds can go up and they can make money that way. Then they got the foreclosure home mills where they try to cheat you out of your mortgage that you pay on your home, and they try to kind of massage you into these mortgage mills that put a mortgage on your home, even though the bank the bank subverts your mortgage into this mortgage mill, and they just hold it and create some sort of extended long-term foreclosure situation. And then remember the WNBA sister that bought her own home? And then dude showed up to her house with guns and ordered her out of her house.
No, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, that was about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm just wondering, and anybody who lives in a subdivision development, one of these new joints, if you get on and let us know. And if you can't, that's fine. If you want to disclose yourself, that's fine. Put it in a comment or something. How prevalent is this throughout the country? How prevalent is that?
Well, HOAs is very interesting because really, HOAs in essence is a failed model.
Yeah.
It's not a sustainable model.
Yeah.
And numerous banks won't fund you if there's an HOA attached to the house that you're buying. That's becoming the bigger thing now because not only the lawsuits and everything else that goes on with some of these HOAs, most of them are just undercapitalized. And so they're going up, they're going defunct. And they're creating other issues with the homeowners and their equity. And so banks now, a lot of your major banks, if you go to like a Bank of America, they will not fund your property unless they get a full financial breakdown of the HOA. And even then, they won't fund it anymore.
Yeah, because I know my grandmother
losing money on it.
I know my grandmother before she passed, right? She lived in Logan's Run out there in Greece, right behind Sam's Club. Mm-hmm. And that was an HOA district. And then you got to go to your meetings and you got to pay your dues and yada, yada, yada. You can't play music loud or...
They had all kinds of rules, man.
Yeah, if you're getting ready to have a party, you got to let them know because there's a noise ordinance and you'll get fined for that. And then what was going on in these particular cases with these families who lost their homes through the HOA liens, they were not even told in some cases that there was an HOA. And then they missed certain meetings, you get fined for that. You miss certain mandates, you get fined for that. And then once your HOA liens and fines get up to a certain amount, and then the homeowners association can put a lien on your house and usurp the property.
Yeah, they can ask you to leave and try to force you out, or that kind of sneaky stuff where they keep filing these liens against you.
Yep.
And before you know it, because in a lot of these HOAs, they can foreclose on your home.
Yep, and that's what happened to a lot of these people. Yep, a lot of these brothers, sisters got their homes foreclosed on for ticky-tacky stuff that they made attempts to rectify whatever the issue was or the taxation was, and those things weren't even honored or regarded. And my question to the people out there and to you, Brother Mozzie, is this the new way of subverting a lot of Black folks from moving into the middle class?
It is. It's a way in which they'll keep you out.
Mm-hmm.
Because just because you put in an offer to buy a home in that arena, they don't want you there. You start having problems from day one of moving there.
Yep. And they'll invent problems for you too.
Oh yeah.
Guess who's coming to dinner? You know what I'm saying? That type of shit.
And then before you know it, you moved. You had a big moving in, and then you got a big moving out. And the
Grand
neighborhood
opening,
stays the
grand
way they
closing.
want it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
then sometimes too, depending on what they'll do is say HOA fees is $300 a month extra. When they know a new person's moving in, or if it's a black person moving in, or someone they don't want to move in, black or brown, as we like to say, they would have a meeting before that person moves in, and make changes to the HOAs fees. So now this person's moving in, everybody else is paying $350 in HOA fees. This person now, before they get to close on their house, how do you want to handle your HOA fees? The HOA fees is $800 now. You're like, $800? God damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're already buying a $200,000 or $300,000 house that's going to run you $2,500 a month in mortgage, and now you got an HOA fee of $800 thrown on top of that.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, we want to be next to white folks so bad that some of us actually just go and do it anyway.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question: is the proximity to what people consider successful, which is what you said, people like being there, them opaque people, that much that they'll risk that sort of an existence to do that?
Yeah.
They think that's the come up. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of them do, because when you look at and see some of the stories of some of these folks, like the second sister you shown, when you look into it a little further, you're like, why the hell did you move here?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like y'all knew when y'all moved in that there weren't any of us around, and we got to quit wanting to be thinking we're special because we're the only one or the first one. And so there were signs that when she went to go move in, it was not going to be good for her. But you know what? We get into this whole thing about, I'm educated, I can afford to live here like everybody else. We get into all that nonsense. And you know what? It's not even about that. That's the part that makes it tough, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. There's a great article on this if anybody wants to read it. It's called the Historical Memory Recovery Channel. You could get this online. And it's the racist roots of homeowners associations. It says the racist roots of homeowners associations and racial covenants. So, just like any other thing, after Brown versus Board and they couldn't discriminate you going into higher education anymore, then they create junior colleges and community colleges and then make all kind of standards. Well, you got to go to 2 community colleges before you can go to the University of Texas or Michigan or Harvard. You got to prove that you could, you got to go above and beyond to prove who you are and what you're about and that you're, valuable enough to be amongst this. And this one is no different. So, check that out. I was going to do a deep dive in it. I don't know if we have time because I wanted to get into something else. But check that out. It's called the Historical Memory Recovery Channel, and it's the racist roots of homeowners associations. And I know we have a lot of them right here in Rochester. All these subdivisions out there in Pittsford and out there in Victor and all of that type of stuff. And, you got to walk, you can't walk 2 feet off your property before you make a left turn, and you can't. So, they got it all laid out for you. You know what I'm saying? We got you on camera. Yeah. Feeding your dog, 5 yards from a hydrant, and that's against the law. So that's against the HOA law. So now you got a $250 fine. And you like, what? Crazy, bro. Crazy. And the crazy thing about it is, right, I've known a lot of couples to live in a lot of black couples that come from out of town, and they move into those subdivisions in Pittsford and Victor and Greece and what have you, Parma, Hilton, whatever, and they get up out of there without give them a year. They in the wind. I didn't know that this was gonna be like this. See you when I see you.
Yep.
See you when I see you. It ain't worth this. You know what I mean?
It's not, man. And
Especially when you
again,
go to a township like Pittsford and you go to an education meeting and dudes show up in a monkey suit.
right.
That sort of shit. You know what I mean? And you paying Pittsford taxes? I don't know. Penfield taxes? I don't know about that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. So I thought with the Soul City piece and the fact that they wanted this all white township, I thought it was really pivotal to talk about the HOAs that are going on right now. Let your people know if they own a home or an apartment or maybe even a co-op or a townhome in a HOA subdivision, and it's PWI. You know, make sure they're checking those HOA bylines, man, and you following the rules, and
you better go to the meetings.
you better go to the meetings, man, and speak up, advocate for yourself, make your presence known. Get an ally in the neighborhood that you in, so you get the proper information about what's cracking in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? All those types of things, man. Because it's a lot out here, man. This is like playing Mario Brothers, man. Every 5 feet, you gotta dodge another challenge.
You ain't lying.
Every 5 feet, do. Now you fighting for survival now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Brother Mozzie didn't know about the Cincinnati Fest Music Fest fight, right? So we're gonna get into some power to the people news. Power to the people news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. It's not old news at this point, but it's revolving news. So in the Cincinnati Music Fest a couple weeks ago, maybe the last week of July, there was a big brawl that broke out. And let me see if I still have the video in my thing. But a big brawl broke out after it was over, and the fight didn't even really go nuclear until a brother decided to intervene on behalf of and break up the actual melee that was about to happen between the Russian white guy and the brother that was there. You know what I'm saying? And he wound up getting smacked for his trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He wound up getting smacked in the face by the Russian white guy. And after he gets smacked in the face, so this is a capsulation of what occurred. So you guys can go on. It's all over the place. Cincinnati Brawl Truth. White man started it. Let's correct the record. The reason why I'm even bringing this up as awareness to move fearless is because they arrested all of the black people who were involved in the melee. And I'll give you a guess, bro. What happened to the white folks that was involved in the melee?
They couldn't find them.
Wow, you know this country so well. Yeah. So this is a picture of the brother who actually started it. Let me get a thing of it right. Let me see. Thought I had it up. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So you can see it right there. And a white guy did an expose on this on TikTok. And I won't play that video, but I just wanted to show this so you could get the white dude that smacked the brother while everybody was trying to simmer the fight down. And then, of course, things just go nuclear after that. They caught, what we used to say around the way, a universal beatdown. Every black person within 5 seconds was on code, within 5 yards, was on code, whooping that ass. And then his wife jumps in and starts hitting on someone. And his sister comes up and mollywops this woman. Oh, and then, of course, then you get the guy, Scott Hanna, right? And then he threatens to do this afterwards. Man accused of threatening to kill 30,000 black people in the city of Cincinnati days after the mega viral video attack. So the question that remains is, we're in the year 2025. Why are we still playing games like this is Birth of a Nation, man?
Mm-hmm.
Why we still playing them games like we don't have drone technology with facial scan recognition, and you can't see this white man haul off and smack this other brother in the face?
And not only that, the technology don't seem to scan our face that well, but it definitely works on white people's face. So you should be able to find them with in a fraction of a second.
Right. And then one of the police higher ups was a white lady, and she was giving her deposition of what happened, and she basically sided with the brothers and sisters who decided to throw down. She was like, the fight was provoked by other parties. She didn't say white, but she said other parties. And people started sending death threats to her door, emailing and texting, and all kind of crap started going on simply because she gave an objective report on what's going on what went on during this Cincinnati Music Fest. So if anybody got any more information on the Cincinnati Music Fest and what happened with the fight and what's currently
that was the music fest or just a night out? I think the fest was on this weekend.
It was a music fest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a music fest. And this is the guy, because we like to state the facts, name the names, and follow the money here on the show. So this is a guy that picture the guy, Scott Hanna, who made this threat here. So if you ever see this cartoon character looking dude, you know, don't have divestment dreams. Get the fuck away from him. That was a funny for people.
Get him before he gets you.
Yeah, sisters don't have divestment dreams. He ain't no good. And I'm saying that only because we're reading a lot of stories of sisters who got divestment dreams and it ain't working out too much for them. It's a lot of slow singing and flower bringing for a lot of these sisters that's getting involved in these divestment matters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ain't gonna call them out individually. All you gotta do is look them up on Google them. Put divestment deaths or recent interracial deaths, and you'll see a bunch of them come right up. So sisters, please be vigilant. If he could put on a b-boy hat and dance like a black dude, that don't mean he down for you. Knock it off. Walk away. You know what I'm saying? Get back in the car with your mama or your auntie or your girlfriend and go back to where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He ain't nobody's savior. Knock it off. But that's him, Scott Hanna, who threatened to kill 30,000 black people because white folks, like the Alabama riverboat fight, they took another L. So I got a question, man. Do you think all these L's that these folks is taking in the public sphere of having to throw down with brothers and sisters in the public sphere, do you think this is the reason for the uptick in a lot of these manifesto domestic terrorist goofies that are going on right now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think a lot of them have been empowered by the last great white man that they feel is out there, Donald J. Trump. And I think they feel emboldened because of the things he allowed to exist and the rhetoric that he put out there. So they just feel like, hey, we got our guy, so we can help him help us to clean up this stuff. So we're gonna go out.
So basically they're deputized, basically, right? They consider themselves deputized. Roscoe Pico train now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Let us know, man. I mean, we got our Karens and we got our our male Karens, our Karens and our Chris's. Have you ever came across one of these racial extremists or one of these kind of, extremist goofies? Did they ever step to you? How did you handle it? Let us know right here. Timestamp it. Let us know right here on the Real HD Show. Hey, bro, we got 20 more minutes left to the show. I don't know how much time you have, so I appreciate you rocking out with me, man.
I hate to say it, man. Bad news, but I got to jump off.
Nah, that's all right, bro. That's fine. That's fine. We did a lot. I appreciate it.
Before it's too late.
Now, do you think?
Just wanted to say real quick, You know they got the Rock Fest going on in Rochester.
Yes, sir.
And that is part of the Tacos and Tequila tour. And for those who like tequila, come on down. It's going to be September 6th at the Rochester Sports Complex. And I'm involved.
Is that the Gates one, or the Greece or Gates one, or?
No, that's the one right there, Oak Street.
Oh, Oak Street. Okay.
Where the stadium's at.
Okay.
And, come on down and have a good time. You can go to Eventbrite, put in Rock Fest, and you'll see it. The headlining act. Hold your seat now. I'm writing Vanilla Ice.
No way. No way.
Well,
oh my gosh.
No. There's a business decision for that.
I got you. No, I get the creative marketing. I get it.
And so just putting it out there for the listeners. Young MC, CNC Music Factory. I'm forgetting one or two other people. There'll be wrestling. It'll be like WWE wrestling going on.
CNC Music Factory. I'm with that.
So just know that's taking place September 6th. And I may be looking for some volunteers to come and assist that day. I'll be putting that out in the next couple of days.
Hey, man, maybe the show can come down there and interview some people, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come down there with the mic and the setup, and we can interview some folks.
Okay. Now, 105.5 is one of the sponsors.
Okay.
So
I know some people at 105, so I'll tap in. I'll see what's up.
All right.
Okay. Yeah,
so
bro.
Let me cut out, folks.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
See you next time.
All right, bro.
All right. Later.
Have a good night. Peace. Yeah, man. So you heard the brother, Rock Festival, Music Fest. Not Music Fest, but festival at the Athletic Center in Rochester. And they're having a lot of headlining acts. CNC Music Factory, Vanilla Ice, etc., etc. The Real HD Show might come down there and show on and show out. And y'all should too. You know what I mean? And I'll feature this right before we get out of here. I'm not going to go too in depth on all of the other subjects. I'll save that for the next time we get on. But my wife put me onto this, and I found a two-parter of this very same thing. So we'll get into this right quick because I think it's worth talking about. Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Wow. So Sydney Sweeney is this actress. She was in White Lotus, and she was also in what was the series? It was the HBO series with the sister on there. That's real. Euphoria. She was on the HBO series Euphoria, and she's making her rounds as the next Hollywood starlet. She's young, 27, and she's turning into another it girl for Hollywood. And American Eagle decides to put her in a pair of jeans, and they decide to have a play on words about her having great genes, like Genes. You know what I mean? And this was a quote from her. The Euphoria star says, genes are passed down from parent to offspring, determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. But my genes are blue. Wow. So if American Eagle ain't trolling, race baiting, and putting crap out there into the macro messaging, I don't know what is. And then, of course, you see Beyonce right beside her, because for shits and giggles, they decide to put Beyonce in comparison to this lady side by side. Beyonce advertised Levi's jeans. She advertises American Eagle jeans. The American Eagle Company is owned by Scott and Stein. It's the Scott and Stein empire. And they have several other clothing companies under them. And then, of course, Levi's jeans is owned by Levi Strauss. And, of course, for the race baiters and the MAGA heads, You want to put a a young American actress up against a Black American icon in Beyonce, and think that that's some sort of contest. Knock it off. It's not. It's not. And I'm sure Sydney Sweeney don't want no smoke with Beyonce on the looks, popularity level, or anything of the sort. Um, and I just think you got to be careful of your macro messaging, man. You got to be careful of you know all the MAGAs are picking their teeth to this whole thing. Trump said he loved the advertisement. Elon Musk is co-signing it. All of the MAGA goofies are jumping on board to support this sort of thing. And I believe anyone has the ability to market themselves and you know be endorsed by a company for um, to get their little money up. But on the other end of it, you got to be responsible for what you put out there, the macro messaging you are a part of. And I think Sydney Sweeney should be a little more responsible, given that she speaks to a younger Gen Z audience that really are fans of hers. And if they decide to just cancel, get involved with the cancel culture of it all, she's going to be sorry that she decided to take that particular endorsement. You know what I mean? And then the second one is this recent Ralph Lauren uh, fashion campaign. And this is supposed to be the Black Vacationers Talented 10th Morehouse Spelman edition of Black fashion. So you see a lot of the ascots and the cardigan sweaters and the hats and a lot of the kind of vacation club or country club wear. And if you're not wearing that particular brand of clothing, then you're kind of like ostracized. It's almost like going to the golf course and not having on proper golf attire, or you go to a tennis court and you don't have on proper tennis attire. Now, this was supposed to be an homage to the Inkwells, the Tar Beaches, the Chicken Bone Beaches, the Idlewild of America. Because, of course, because of segregation, America did not allow Black people to vacation in summer. Even if you were well off, they didn't allow you to do that the way other white people did it. You couldn't just go to Martha's Vineyard. You had to go to the Black part of Martha's Vineyard. And I'm sure there were certain areas of Martha's Vineyard or the Hamptons, or any of those kind of beach-related areas where you were excluded from simply because of your race, creed, or color, right? And Black people had to create their own. They had to create their own Chicken Bone Beach, their own Idlewild, their own, you know, Hamptons retreats and things like that. And I've showed you plenty of them on the show because plenty of them are being rediscovered, reinstituted, and being honored for how special they are. So what this article and what this Ralph Lauren campaign does is it flies in the face of discrimination that was had and was endured by Black vacationers of a middle to upper class ilk, and what they had to go through just trying to be within the American meritocracy and vacation in a safe way, in a productive way, and in a fun way. And if you want to see a Black family doing their thing, go watch that series Forever. That's on Netflix. That's featuring a well-to-do family that was in California, and then they went to vacation in a all-Black vacation spot in the East and visit some family, and they had to go through some trials and tribulations in that regard so that they could be safe and have a great vacation experience. And we've been here for 400 plus years, man, putting it down. inventing everything from this country, from the White House to inventions of sanitary belts and napkins and everything from the rooter to the tutor, right? And we still have to face travails like this. And then within the frame of the Ralph Lauren controversy, there's a schism. There's a dichotomy. There's a separation of it all, right? Because some black people got beef with it, and some black people are, they have the PTSD of it all. They think it's okay, and are we triggered when we see stuff like this because we're reminded of our social and savage inequalities that exist when we look at things like this? Are we reminded of that? That if you don't have the code switching that I talked about earlier in the show with Chameleon Street, right? You got to look the part, sound the part, be the part, or you can't be a part of American franchising, financing, transactions, wealth building. If you don't sound the part, look the part, be the part, are you destined to be on the outside looking in of all of that? So, it's almost time to get up out of here. Let me know what you think of these fashion controversies and what are some of the macro messaging that they're putting into the ethos for our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids to digest. What does that say about them? If I wear a hood instead of wearing a summer tunic, am I out of place? If I can't afford to vacation in Martha's Vineyard, in the Hamptons, and the Inkwells, and the Idlewilds, am I not a valuable human being? If I can't afford a tire that makes me look, speak, talk, act, and represent what Black upper class wealth is supposed to look like throughout the ages, am I not welcome to be a part of that? Very interesting. They show a lot of that in this show called My Kind of People. It was starring Yaya, the actress model. Pretty cool. And also, what was my man name from Best Man? Morris Chestnut. A lot of really good actors and actresses in that too. So go check that out. That gives you a little bit of a dichotomy of what common Black people went through when they were intermingling with the economically elite of the Inkwells and the Idlewilds and the Chicken Bone Beaches of it all. And that is going to be the show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad that the tech gremlins didn't come through and decide to have a party, and we got to bring you guys a full show tonight. Thanks to Brother Mozzie. I want to thank everybody that's listening, liking, and being a part of the show as we progressed it along. I know I offered a lot tonight. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, turn on all your notifications, and leave a comment, timestamp. Tell me what part of the show you liked. Tell me what part of the show resonated with you. Are you going to use any of it? Does it even matter? Am I dated with my information? Talk to me. Let's have a high discussion. And until next time, I'm going to wish you peace and walk with power. We out.